A monument recently erected in a Mississippi town marks one of the most tragic and shameful events in American history. It honors the legacy of Emmett Till, a black teenager murdered in 1955. The outpouring of anger and grief that followed his lynching helped launch the civil rights movement. CBN's Brody reports from the Mississippi Delta.
Racism is still alive in Mississippi.
Standing just feet away from where Emmett Till was lynched, the mayor of Glendora, Mississippi, talks about the young man's final moments.
The very first beating that he received was just right there on that pile of rocks, and the blood was washed out of the truck here on these grounds. His clothes burned on these grounds, and came here to dispose of the body.
For many who live here, the Mississippi Delta is grief. Its history steeped in racism and generational poverty, where sharecroppers worked the land, making wealth for plantation owners. And even after all this time, Emmett Till's story still haunts the Delta. Glendora's mayor hopes the statue will keep his legacy alive.
By making sure that our young folks never forget the heinous act that took place, and to remember not to be afraid to stand up.
After being beaten, shot in the head, and tied to a cotton gin fan with barbed wire, 14-year-old Emmett Till's body was discarded here in the Tallahatchie River.
Mayor Thomas must wrestle with his family's legacy here, including this, how his father helped tie Till to the cotton gin fan. It's where a local museum commemorating Till stands today.
Cotton was king for Mississippi. This Delta we had billboards saying, kept the cotton king of the world.
State Senator David Lee Jordan has memories as well, sitting in the Sumner County Courthouse watching the two men charged with Till's murder get acquitted.
On the stand, they had the mortician from Greenwood, Mississippi, a friend that knew us. So he said there was a ring. He found a ring on his finger, and it had his father's initial in it. And that's why he was able to identify the body.
Jordan says his purpose is to make life better for the people in the Delta. He recently led an effort to install a 9-foot, $150,000 bronze statue of Emmett Till.
This larger-than-life statue of Emmett Till, dedicated last year, stands boldly over the city of Greenwood, Mississippi, not far from where Till was kidnapped. It also reads that Till's sacrifice in 1955 is what inspired the civil rights movement.
A new movie on Till is also helping honor his legacy and keep it alive.
The lynching of my son has shown me that what happens to any of us, anywhere in the world, had better be the business of us all.
However, some believe the memorialization of Till via movies and statues have ripped off the Band-Aid of wounds that never healed.
The danger is that some people would look at the monument going up and say, we did it. We're done. We've addressed this issue. Let's move on.
That's part of the work, but it's a deeper work that have to go on in our hearts. And the church have to be a part of that. And I think we should.
In the same courthouse where an all-white jury acquitted the two men, Reverend Willie Williams preserves Till's memory and says people here are still dealing with his death.
We talk a lot about reconciliation, and to me, it's a twofold as relate to biblical reconciliation.
Williams and his team at the Emmett Till Interpretive Center across from the courthouse say today's national conversation on racism needs to include healing and reconciliation.
The church is made of people. And that it's up to people to choose, to bring light to some of the situations that I think sometimes we often try to divorce ourselves from.
The solution is to try to uplift humanity and do our part and not, allow hate and unforgiveness and destroy us from the inside out.
Till's lynching is one of more than 4,000 that took place during the Jim Crow era, following the Civil War and into the 20th century. Little is known today about those horrendous crimes. Leaders in the Delta say it's up to the next generation to rise tackle race relations head on and pave a new path forward.
That's why I say people are more alike than they are different. And now we're at the largest picture of Emmett Till anywhere in the country in Greenwood, Mississippi. I think we're going to eventually get there, but it's going to be too late for a lot of people.
Reporting in the Mississippi Delta, Brody Carter, CBN News.
Well, I agree. We're going to get there eventually, and let's hasten that day where it's not just aspirational words, but it's a real thing in our culture today, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal. All of us have the right to liberty, to freedom, to happiness. We owe a great debt, not just to Emmett Till, but especially to his mother. In her famous words, "I wanted the world to see what they did to my baby." That she had an open casket funeral, and she had to go against a lot of opposition to that. And she said, "No, I want the world to see what they did to my baby." And that funeral sparked the civil rights movement. We owe her a great debt, and a great debt of gratitude. Thank you for standing up, and thank you for standing for what should be happening in our culture every single day, that we hold this truth to be self-evident. All men are created equal.